Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Onyedikachi Chikiobi. Um, you all heard from my wonderful host here. We are going to be talking on the topic Pan Africanism, the way forward on the program Youth in Politics. Okay, this is a very interesting topic that would interest the many viewers out there who really need to understand more about this particular topic. Right?
Good evening to everyone out there. My name is Louis Divine. I am your host for this very important show, coming to you live from Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University, COOU for short, Ule campus. Okay, we have a very interesting story or topic we'd like to talk about today. But before we get into that, I would love for you to see or meet my guests. I'll let him introduce himself.
Okay, good evening. My humble host has introduced himself already. My name is Onyedikachi Chikiobi. A student of geology in foreign level in the same school, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University, COOU. We are here to discuss about the topic Pan-Africanism, the way forward under the program Youth in Politics. It's going to be an informative talk show, and I believe you all will be informed as you listen to this program. Thank you.
Okay, and we're back. So, he has introduced himself already. So, what we're talking about today is a topic titled Pan-Africanism, the way forward under the program Youth in Politics. So, we're going to have it's going to be a very interactive session with my humble guest here. So, we're going to go through a lot of discussions where he's going to educate not just myself, but the viewers out there on what we're talking about Pan-Africanism. There are many people out there who don't even understand the topic or what we're going to talk about today, but if you can just pay attention and listen carefully, he's going to do what break it down in different forms. So let's get into it. So okay, Pan-Africanism, it is a, let me say, unfamiliar word for some people, but so okay, for you sir, the word Pan-Africanism, what does Pan-Africanism mean? Let's start from there.
Okay, thank you very much, and that's a very nice question. We all are Africans.
Yes.
We all are Africans, and we all are blacks. And if we look at the history of Africa as a continent, a lot has happened.
Yes.
Okay, we've undergone the era of slave trade,
Yes.
slavery. We've undergone the era of colonialism, neo-colonialism, and brutal oppression by the whites. So Pan-Africanism, as it's should I say, it's an abstract something. Okay, listen well, it's an abstract ideology. We cannot say it, we cannot feel it, we cannot touch it. Okay, it is an ideology that was born out of Africans, both at home and in the diaspora. Okay, with out of a need to like bring every African together. Pan-Africanism is solely just about the black culture, promoting the black culture. Okay, bringing black peoples together, bringing black people under one roof, under one umbrella, with our own type of identity. The word Pan-Africanism, that's as one body. Africanism about Africa, everything about Africa, things made by Africans for Africans by Africans. Okay, promoting the African culture, the African identity. I see it now. That is just, should I say, a summary of Pan-Africanism. But if you are to look at the definition of Pan-Africanism, Pan-Africanism is defined as an ideology put forward by Africans, okay, to promote the African culture, the African identity, the African spirit. That's the main thing in that. Okay, that's all I could say about Pan-Africanism.
Okay, you've heard him. So according to what he said, it is talking about we as African, as black, coming together, being united again. Though many of us might have been separated by where we are now and those in the diaspora.
Yeah.
Pan-Africanism, like he has said, is a topic or a program that is supposed to push us back together, both those who are at home and the diaspora. Understand? So that is what we're going to be talking about today. So he has explained it. He has given us a very wide and very understandable discussion or definition of what's Pan-Africanism. Is, you understand? So now we have a few more questions for you, sir. So you know we don't have too much time. So okay, like can you give us a brief history of Pan-Africanism? Like where did all this started from? Did it just start out of nowhere, or a group of persons came together to bring up the idea? Just give us a trip down memory lane.
It's my joy because I'm into this movement of into this black movement. Okay. Now the issue of Pan Africanism started not too long ago. It can well be traced. Some people can say it can well be traced to way beyond, even during the colonial era and the slave era, when Africa was under the slave trade.
Okay.
Okay, but if we are to look at the brief history of the Pan African movement, okay, it started in the late 40s. Okay, with the likes of people like W.E.B. Du Bois, with the likes of Marcus Garvey, with the likes of Kwame Nkrumah, in Julius Nyerere, Modibo Keita, and many other African leaders who liberated their countries from colonial rule.
Okay.
Okay. Some of them were not Africans. Some of them were African Americans in America, that's USA, in Haiti, in Jamaica, and in so many other black states entirely. Let me say that word. Okay. Like I showed you earlier on in the first definition of what is Pan Africanism. Okay, it was born out of this need to bring African both, let us not use just Africa, both black people, so long as you are black, under one body, giving them one identity. Okay, so that was just how the history of Pan Africanism began. People in Africa traveled overseas, okay, to study, and during the course of study, they got in contact with that ideology and brought it back to Africa, okay, with that burning desire to liberate their country from colonial rule. And that was how Kwame Nkrumah came and fought for the independence of Ghana. Before Ghana gained its independence in 1957.
Okay.
That was how Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe did the same thing, coupled with Chief Obafemi Awolowo. That was how Modibo Keita, David Daka, and many other people too as well. They went abroad to London, to America to study. They contacted that and brought it back to Africa. Okay, and that was how it began to spread. The Pan-African movement has been on right from the 1940s down, and it has been going on and on. Okay, so that's just the brief history of Pan-Africanism. Okay, that's just the brief history of it. Now, in the 21st century, now the Pan-African movement has been reawoken, or I would say it has. Let me just say it. I would say it has been reawoken because after some time, there seemed to be like a setback. Thank you, a setback. So now in the 21st century now, it has been reawoken now by the likes of Julius Malema, P.L. Lumumba, and others who are fighting for this. Because essentially speaking, Africa as a continent has suffered a lot. We have suffered a lot. So we have suffered a lot, and we need to come back. We need to come back under a sense of brotherhood, under a sense of whereby every nation, because the 54 countries in Africa that constitutes the African continent, okay, I don't think they are viable. Okay, many of them have very poor economies. There are civil wars everywhere. Look at now, for instance, the issue between Niger and Nigeria, and what happened in Burkina Faso and the rest. Come on, it's even in Sudan now. Look at what's happening there now. So the 55 odd countries, I'll use that word, 55 odd countries in Africa now, they are suffering. They have shambled economies. That's the reason why. So in order for Africa to achieve its potential, unity is the main goal. We have to come together. That is just one of the things.
Okay. So he has taken us down to memory lane, telling us that Pan-Africanism did not just start from this 21st century. It has begun a long time ago before now. It has been a movement that has started even before most of us were born. Like you heard him say, we had different leaders coming from different countries to represent their countries, to fight for them, to speak out for them, to talk, to tell the world that we blacks have a thing of our own. You heard him say, mention numerous men who came outside to fight and make sure that their country become dependent on their own. So now, this Pan-Africanism, does it have anything to, or does it have a relationship with Black Lives Matter?
Oh, yeah. There's a very big connection between that. Black Lives Matter and Pan Africanism. There's a very big connection.
Okay.
Okay, location, geography it shouldn't be an excuse.
Okay.
Black Lives Matter came. It was an uprising that started in America. Okay, we all know, due to the fact of the police brutality, with the police were treating blacks as if they were known entities and the rest, and that was how that movement began, the Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
But Africanism, I would say, it's broader.
Okay.
Let me use that word. It is a broader concept than Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
Pan Africanism tends to cover a whole aspect, because beyond just Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter arose out of just one particular problem: the police brutality,
Yes.
and many other issues. Police unfair treatment, unfair justice
Okay.
being meted out to black
Blacks,
people in
yes.
America. Okay, but Afghanistan covers that broad concept, whereby even those in America can still trace their home back to Africa.
Okay.
Exactly. African Americans can still trace their homes back to Africa. Black Lives Matter is honored by the Pan African movement.
Okay.
And in the era when the Pan African movement would soar very, very wide,
Okay.
okay, it would get to an extent whereby the Black Lives Matter would be it will, I wouldn't say it would be absurd, but okay, it would like it would
Link into the
link.
movement.
Thank you. It would be like a link to the Pan African movement, so that it will cover every area. The Black Lives Matter movement, okay, is still ongoing and is still moving on. Okay, but it cannot just go on as an independent movement. It can't. Okay, because one, everyone has to trace back their roots back to Africa.
Yes.
Even those in Europe too as well, the same thing. They are also suffering that racist conditions.
Okay.
So the first thing they have to happen is that they have to trace their roots back to Africa, so that if once you know your roots, you can be able to know the next step forward.
Yes.
That's just the main
that's
thing.
what we're talking about here.
Yeah. So Black Lives Matter and the Pan African movement, it shares a very good connection.
Okay.
Okay, in the Black Lives Movement is just under the Pan African movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit of more questions. Okay, examples. What are examples of Pan-Africanism? Like
Okay,
common examples.
the common examples of the Pan African movement now. Okay, we all know of the strides made by Kwame Nkrumah during the late 50s down into the late 60s, the 60s. Same thing with Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois, and so many others. Even Fela and Nicolas Pokuti, if you remember Fela and Nicolas Pokuti as well, a famous Nigerian musician in the late 70s, 80s, and in the late 70s and in the late 80s.
Okay, thank you for that. So, furthermore, let's talk about examples. Can you give us like brief examples of Pan-Africanism or what we're talking about here?
Okay, good. Now, let me just rephrase the question. What are the examples of the Pan-African movement now?
Okay.
Good. So now, examples of Pan-African movement now. Okay, you've already mentioned the Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
There are many other Pan-African movements, okay, that occurred. We all know of the strides of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in the late 60s. We all know of what Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe did. We all know of what Emperor Haile Selassie did. There were many other movements. We all know the strides of W.E.B. Du Bois in America, and so many other. So there are several examples of the Pan-African movement. Okay, in our subsequent maybe when in our subsequent talk show, we will not deepen more into this. Okay, this is just like should I say a brief touching the scab, exactly, touching the scab of it. So now there are many other movements. Okay, there are many other examples of the Pan-African movement. Okay, that happened. Even some now, for example, the one by Julius Malema in South Africa now. Okay, under the EFF. Okay, under the EFF now. Okay, so there are many other movements that are happening in this 21st century, and there are many others that happened previously before now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, these were movements that helped to like invigorate that spirit into
Okay.
Africans and
Okay.
blacks all over the world, such that it made Africans and blacks feel that yes, they feel they belong somewhere,
Okay.
okay, and that they are not just entities like Israel's now. The Israel sometime,
Okay.
okay, they didn't have a home.
Yes.
So after the Second World War and after Hitler had killed over 6 million Jews, that was when the United Nations now had to like okay create a state for them. But Africans now, beyond that, have a home. They also have their own continent, their own home base. So
Okay.
the Pan African movement now is to invigorate that spirit in them, for them to have faith in their homeland and where they come from.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. Like you have heard him say, there are different examples of Pan-Africanism, like Black Lives Matter, like in the independence fighting. Like he has listed numerous ones of them, of examples of Pan-Africanism. And I would love for you to do what? Make more researches about these things I was talking about. These things are very vital for you to know as an African and even a person beyond the African descent. Okay, another question for you. I would love you to answer this question. Like it is a very important question. Okay, the question is role of Pan-Africanism. What is the role of this movement that we are trying to further?
Okay, good. Now the role of the Pan-African movement now,
Okay.
okay, is just let's say I would say it is in two folds now. What is the role of the Pan-African movement? I've I've listed some of them,
Okay.
okay, in my explanations
Yes,
now.
yes.
Now the role of the Pan-African movement now, I think it's just two or three.
Okay.
One is to foster that spirit of unity among
Okay.
Africans.
Yes.
That's one of the major roles of the Pan-African movement.
Okay.
To foster the spirit of unity among Africans. Africans, to be sincere with you, are confused and we are disunited.
Yes,
So
yes,
now
yes.
the Pan-African movement, the Pan-African movement is to foster the spirit of unity amongst Africans.
Okay.
And two, it acts as a shield against the oppressors, because the white men, let me not say the white men, the Western civilization, they use this strategy of divide and conquer,
Okay.
divide and rule. Okay, on we Africans, they cut us into pieces of cake,
Yes,
and want to now divide us separately.
Okay.
So that the Pan-African movement, like I told you, one is to foster the spirit of unity. Two is to act as a shield from the West,
Okay.
so that the West cannot intrude in.
Okay.
The colonial masters cannot just come in any longer
Okay.
and now wants to use that same tactics to now
Okay.
separate us together.
Okay.
That is the two major roles of the Pan-African movement.
Okay.
And one thing I also want to add again, the one other role of the Pan-African movement is to like create a sense create an environment where everybody knows their roots. That is the thing. Africans seems to have lost their history.
Okay.
So that the Pan-African movement, one of its other major role is to create in us that sense of us going back to our roots, retracing back our steps and knowing where we came from and what
Okay.
was lost on our way,
Yes.
on our journey down. Africans have been enslaved for over 400 years, even beyond that now. So we need to go back to we need to trace back to our roots and know where we lost it.
Okay.
That are just the
Okay,
overall
thank
the
you
three
very
major
much
roles.
again, once again. Having you here has been a high pleasure.
Yeah.
So, like you heard him say, one of the major roles of Pan-Africanism is to recreate unity that we once had, but along the line we have lost it. You understand? So, what he's trying to say is that Pan-Africanism, the major target for Pan-Africanism, or the vision of Pan-Africanism, is to make sure that there is unity once again in the blacks. You understand? So the Pan-African movement, like you have said, is to bring us united again, because according to your statement, the Western civilization used the tactics of what? Divide and conquer. And many of us are familiar with this saying that united we stand, divided we fall. So now if we rephrase it back to what you're saying, so what you're trying to say is that if we are not together, if there is no unity between Africans, that is to say that a time is coming where we are going to gradually fall.
Yeah,
Is that what
exactly. If there's no unity among Africans, we will lose it.
Okay.
Africans, like I told you, we are disunited. Look at what's happening between Nigeria and Niger now. And look
Okay.
at what's happening in Niger, Burkina Faso. There's confusion everywhere. Burkina Faso and Mali are saying they support Niger. Nigeria and other African countries under the ECOWAS say they want to invade Niger. Something is a paradox, because how can an African country want to attack its own brother? And the two countries that have undergone the same period of slavery and everything, you want to attack your own brother. Who's going to benefit from it? No one. It's only the whites that will benefit from it, sincerely speaking. As when the fighting is done, they come in, take the spoils of war, and they go. That's the thing. That's the reason why this movement has to be reinvigorated even more. Are you getting it now? That's the one of the major things there. Okay, so if we are not united, we cannot go anywhere. The economy of one African country is less than the wealth of a billionaire in America, if we should look at it. Okay,
definitely.
exactly, because look at, let's say the economy of Benin Republic now, the biggest money is times two of it. Exactly, the biggest money is times three of it. So but if we as Africa come together with our economy,
because I love what you say, because individually our economy is filthy. It is way down.
It's way down.
So now these two countries you're talking about, Niger and Nigeria, who are planning or going into whatever they are planning on going to, like war or whatever. So we both know that these two countries are struggling to put themselves up there in the map of being called developing countries. The both countries are underdeveloped. So now engaging in war definitely means what? Massive destructions. For infrastructures that they are yet unable to put out there. So now going to this war, do you see any benefit in it?
I just said that there's no benefit here. Nobody's going to benefit, apart from the West coming in to take the spoils of war and leaving. Nobody's going to benefit anything. And it's madness, because I mean, what? It sounds funny. Nobody's going to benefit anything from it. It's brutality, and it's the highest level of stupidity for one African country to invade. If you invade, what is it? Nobody's going to benefit anything from it. And no soldier, no man is ready to die for that kind of a foolish war.
Yes, definitely.
That's the thing. So that's why the Pan-African movement needs to still be reinvigorated. Let it be pushed into the minds of people. Let them know that we need to have this at the forefront of our minds. Are you seeing it? So that's just the main thing.
Okay, like you heard him say, we coming together to fight ourselves benefits us nothing. Those who are not fighting are the people who oddly now come and benefit. We are just going to go through destructions and this kind of thing. So Africans out there, let's come together again. Nigerians, Senegalese, Egyptians, Cameroonians, and much more Tanzanians. We are many, we are much out there. Let's stop hating on ourselves, because this war or whatever, we fighting against ourselves just cause more destruction for ourselves and pushing us back again into the mud that we are struggling to come out from. Okay, thank you for that. So, okay, just a little bit of this question is just a little bit of something. So, like the Pan-African movement, like Black Lives Matter, the independence fighting, can you give us differences between them?
Okay. Now, let's say now the difference is now between the Pan-African movement, the Pan-Africa, the Black Lives Matter, and every other movement that has arisen across Africa. Arab nationalism, Black nationalism. The Pan-African movement is the father of all. Okay, is the father of all. The Pan-African movement, like I told you, is all about unity. I say it's all about unity. Now, every other movement that arose or is arising, is just like a stepping stone for this. We Africans, we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn. And many of us don't seem to always bear this in mind. That from now to the kingdom come, if we don't unite, nobody can unite for us. Nobody can come to us. It's all that we have to do that for ourselves and by ourselves. And for ourselves is everything us. Is everything us. Are you seeing it now? So that is just the whole concept of everything. The differences between every other movement compared to the Pan-African movement, just that the Pan-African movement is the father of all.
them.
That is just the thing. The Pan-African.
Okay.
If you as an African are not doing anything to advance the cause of the Pan-African ideology, I don't know what you are doing,
Okay.
because frankly speaking, the white men, let me not use the white men, sorry, the West now, they tend to look at us like, okay, wow, the Africans, okay. If you travel to any European or Asian country or even to America, they won't say you are Nigerian. They will say you are an African.
You are black.
That is, if you travel to China now, they will say they don't know what okay, where is Mozambique, where is Tanzania, all these countries don't sound to them because many African countries are broke. Is a country that has money, that has name.
Yes,
Now,
definitely.
if you travel to a country like China now, they don't know which where is Zanzibar or Zaire or Congo. But all they know is that you are an African, you are black. These two words, black and what? African. That was all that. So we need to use that as should I say, as a bond that okay, yes, they know us as Africans, not as Ghanaians, not as Nigerians, not as Nigerians or Malians or Chadians. They know us as what? Africans. Then we should be happy with that and stick to it.
So what you're trying to say is that since the whites, or let me say the whites of Western civilization categorize all of us as blacks and as Africans, not as individual country or states. So now we should use it as an advantage because according to them we are supposed to be united. For them to call all of us Africans. So now that statement by them, is it like is it a push for us to be united?
It's a push for us to be united. It's a very big push for us. Now I say it's an opportunity. It's really good. If you go to a Western country now, okay, you as a Nigerian, and maybe somebody else that comes to that same country, maybe as a Togolese or a Ghanaian now, okay, they won't say, okay, this one is this. They all see you. In their eyes, we are all Africans. So that's just so it's really an opportunity for us to now use that to unite amongst ourselves. Okay, because once a group of Africans face the wrath of the oppressor, they won't say, oh, this one, don't come near me, you're not a Nigerian or you're not a Togolese. No one know how unity will have to be closer because they have to survive. They are in the same race, the black race. That's just the plain truth.
Okay, thank you for the differences of Pan-Africanism. Okay, like we all know, a huge or world-changing movement like this must definitely, at one point in time, come up against hindrances, problems, and things like that. Can you tell us, just tell us problems or hindrances of Pan-Africanism, or like the things we are likely to face once we push this movement again?
Okay. So now the Pan-African movement now has problems, has hindrances. There are hindrances to the Pan-African movement now. One of such problem has been ignorance. That is the first major problem. Ignorance. Ignorance has been the major problem of the Pan-African movement from day one. The second hindrance of the Pan-African movement is Africans like ignorance, which is also coupled with lack of education. There's no people are not. I will come to the second hindrance. The first one, let me highlight more it, is Africans are not educated. They are not educated. Okay, and that's why they can just come and just tell us, do this, do this, go here, do this, go there. The second problem is political apathy. Africans are not politically enlightened.
At all.
We are not politically enlightened.
In fact, many of us have seen political parties like, how will I put it?
Up to 400 or up to 500. Like they just come in and tell us this and that, nothing, and they're not fulfilling anything. So this is what is killing the Pan-African movement. Okay, and the third thing here is this language barrier. That means communication barrier. Some countries speak French, some countries speak English, some countries speak Portuguese, some countries speak Spanish, some countries speak Dutch, and those that are speaking English are controlled by England. Those that speak French are controlled by France. Those that speak Portuguese are controlled by Portugal. Those that speak Spanish by Spain. Those that speak Dutch by the Netherlands. They can just say, there's the communication barrier, number one, ignorance and political apathy, coupled with some other hidden factors too as well. are some of the hindrances of the Pan African movement. Okay, I believe if okay, let's just ask some of
Okay. So
our guests now
okay. So
about it.
now the hindrances are one of the things like you said, disunity or let me say ignorance, political apathy. Understand? So most of us are divided by our language, by our motive, by our thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so all these things are simply the things now. Like if these things can be handled, then we feel like Pan Africanism, though we should not or will not have an issue.
Yeah. If all this can be well taken care of, I believe on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say 9, Pan Africanism, the Pan African movement would go a long way.
Okay. So thank you very much for that. And let's go. We have a caller. So I would like to hear him talk to us. We have a caller, very important.
Okay, let's put him through.
Okay.
My name is I'm calling from Lagos State.
Okay, thank you very much for being here with us. So based on the topic Pan-Africanism, the way forward, we have come to this part saying the problem of Africanism. What can you tell us about the problems of Africanism and the way forward?
Okay. First of all, let's talk about Pan-Africanism.
Okay.
Pan-Africanism is uniting Africa. That's our African nation together.
Yes.
Making us the United States of Africa.
Okay.
And why we want to do Pan-Africanism is because of comparison with the heritage and specific.
Okay.
That's why we choose Pan-Africanism because we believe that divided India, divided we fall.
Okay. Yes.
United as united.
You stay. Yes.
We understand Pan-Africanism as the way of what, the way of life.
Okay.
And the reason for Pan-Africanism, talk about contemporary Pan-Africanism.
Yes.
We chose after the national socialism.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So if you look at Western coming to think about scientific socialism.
Okay.
So Pan-Africanism as the way forward, it was socialism.
Okay.
Because you cannot separate, I don't think you can separate Pan-Africanism from socialism.
Okay.
Because why we have Africans are national socialists.
Okay.
We socialize ourselves.
Okay.
It's the one dominating Africa.
Okay.
Imperialism, they try to bring African nations. Like what is happening now is they see imperialism and when imperialism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Why we are trying to want Africa to be united? They are not afraid of everyone. They create too many things for us.
Yes. You're right.
So the only way to move on is Pan-Africanism and scientific socialism.
Okay.
What is socialism? Socialism means that we Africans have to use the resources of Africa to develop Africa.
Okay. I get your point.
To other countries, other nations. Like what's happening in Nigeria now, let's say what's happening recently. Because Nigeria is transferring uranium, they are exploiting people. They are
Okay.
taking their resources and they are not using it for themselves. They didn't have the uranium that can power all their countries, give them life. But Nigeria doesn't have life at all. And now it's 90% of their resources have to do with power their own country.
That's too bad.
And that's the failure of what that's the thing of Pan-Africanism because we cannot unite as Africans. Failure of socialism, let's capitalism and imperialism from this one, Pan-Africanism.
Okay.
That's why people like Kwame and this Pan-Africanism is now. That's what they feel. Because even some of those the first one is the AU. That's African Union. That's like an African Union with the idea of what? Gaddafi. So the idea of imperialism. In fact, when Gaddafi was pushing for Pan-Africanism, that's when it made sense.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we have to understand that this is the only way.
Okay.
Socialism is the only way for Africa. Scientific socialism is the only way for Africa. United Africa is the only way for Africa. Not for anything. And everything that is nation, how Africa was created. Africa was created by what? Berlin Conference, by Europeans, Berlin Conference in the
1885.
Okay.
yes, they created the border because Africa has no border before.
Exactly.
The border was divided us. Because we tried to heal ourselves.
the Gold Coast, yes.
So because of one, that's what we are getting from that. That's what we are getting from those boys that time. We are getting gold from Ghana, exploiting their resources for their own use. In Nigeria now, they got the most amount of things they took them from Badagry. That's why they call us the slave coast.
Yes.
Because we have more human resources. Yes.
Yes,
From
yes,
Ivory Coast,
yes.
they took more ivory too. Yes. So that's why we have to work.
Okay, okay, okay.
Using our resources from our own benefit.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. You have
Thank
been
you.
very helpful. Thank you. Love to speak with you some other time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, like our guest said, coming together, scientific socialism and Pan-Africanism is the only way forward for us. So
Exactly.
every other way is something else, but this is the best way. This is the best option we have. This is one
Exactly.
shot. We have to
Exactly.
take it exactly like
Exactly.
what he has said. Thank you.
Exactly. He
This
just
is wonderful.
he hit the nail forward.
Yes,
Pan-Africanism
yes,
and scientific socialism is the way forward.
Forward, yes.
Because we Africans, by nature, we are socialists.
Yes, yes.
Capitalism
yes,
cannot
yes.
work for us.
Yes, yes.
So let's put a call across to
Yes.
this.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So please, what's your name? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay. My name is Comrade Olaemi.
Okay.
I'm calling from Ibadan.
Oh. Okay. Okay. So, like I said before, we love you to talk about the overview of Pan-Africanism, like what's Pan-Africanism, the problems of Pan-Africanism, and like we all should know it, the way forward.
Now, let me go in by telling us what Pan-Africanism is.
Okay.
So, Pan-Africanism is a worldwide movement
Okay.
that aims to encourage the strength, bond of solidarity.
Okay.
That is in between all the nations and diasporas of Africa and everything.
Okay.
Now, let's now talk about the problem that Pan-Africanism is having.
Okay.
Now, in the country where there is no freedom,
Mm.
where there is much controversy here and there,
Okay. Okay.
Pan-Africanism people or their members or anybody that has a good ideology will have a problem.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah, and the problem will be on the right they are asking for.
Okay.
And if a Pan-Africanism fails to open up or to do or show his act of being a Pan-Africanism,
Okay.
there will be a big problem for him.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Like you are in a gathering where all these people there are not doing the right thing, you want them to understand that, hello my people, these things are not right.
Exactly. Exactly.
But the fact still remains that everybody might not think what you were talking about.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So
Yeah.
the truth of a Pan-Africanism is in the blood, not really in your heart.
Yeah. Yes. 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 I
So
have a strong
something
point.
you have in your blood will surely come out whenever the man is
Yes.
out.
Definitely. Definitely. Very strong
So
points.
that's number one thing for a Pan-Africanism person.
Okay.
And I think that I've mentioned their problem because their problem is general.
Yes. Yes.
Come
Yes.
out anywhere you find yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's not talk about the solution.
The way forward. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the way forward is when you can preach the ideology you are carrying to people to understand that this thing is the right thing.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And the way you can explain or express yourself to them for them to understand that you know what you are doing.
Okay.
From there, you have a way forward.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Oh God. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
yeah.
much. Thank you so much. Thank
Now
you so much
that's
for that.
interesting.
Thank you so
That
much
is
for
very,
that.
very
Thank you.
interesting.
Thank you. It was a pleasure having you here, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, comrade.
You're welcome.
Okay, like you've heard him, we have places, we have things to do. There's so much controversy between ourselves and African. Like you heard him said, it is not in your eyes, it's not in your skin. Pan-Africanism should have sunk so deep in your blood. It lives in you. It comes out and it comes in from you. No matter how much you want to hide it, definitely one day it will reveal itself, and that is what we need. That is the way forward. Letting your true Africa that is in you come out. Bringing out your Africa. Bringing out your original identity, no longer hiding it, being proud of who you are and what Ochiwa. Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
He just made a very good highlight on that, and he just made more point as to what I said on them. That's all.
Okay, so like the last caller said, he have told us, he highlighted us the problem and the way forward. I hope you listened very well. So now we have another interesting session I would love him to speak about. So that session says Pan-Africanism and the world. Pan-Africanism and the world. Western civilization. What does Pan-Africanism have to do with Western civilization on the world as a whole?
Now,
Action.
Pan-Africanism and the world. Now, what is the relationship? Now?
Yes.
Good. Now, Pan-Africanism. Now, we have, from what I have said from the beginning of the session, and from what my colleagues over here have contributed. Now, is about Africa now uniting the black people together. If we are to look at this in relation now to the world, now I will say to the Western civilization now to the world entirely. But Africanism is like a light bearer. Okay. Africa is at the center of the globe Earth.
Yes.
Okay. So the interconnectivity between Pan-Africanism and the Western civilization is, or let me use the word in general, is such that it is shielding us.
Okay.
It's just like a mother hen using her wings to shield her chicks, okay, from the hawk flying all over. Africans, we have been destabilized, we have been oppressed, we have been enslaved, we have been insulted for several centuries. So now, Pan-Africanism is such that it is like a mother hen shielding all of us together from the entire world. Are you getting me now? From the entire world. Because take it or you leave it, this world is about competition. It's a corporate competition. Every man for himself and by himself. I get it now. The World Bank does not care. The IMF does not care. The United Nations could have supposedly think that they are for the whole world. They are not. They are controlled by the West. That just the plain truth.
Okay.
So Pan-Africanism, as viewed by the whole world, they see it as, what are these people doing? They don't care. They see it as a bizarre because like I said, the Pan-African movement is a shield covering we Africans. I get the concept now. So now the relationship between Pan-Africanism and the world is like an underdog. We are fighting for our freedom. We are fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for our children and our unborn children. Because in the next 15 or 20 years to come, the world is gonna change. Okay, it's gonna change, and racism will continue. Take it or you leave it. Racism will continue. Okay, so Pan-Africanism and the world now, and the interconnectivity between them is a fight of the underdogs.
Okay.
Pan-Africanism fighting for the oppressed against the oppressors.
Okay.
That's just the way it is. Okay, and we need to keep up that fight so that as time go on, we will regain our freedom. We regain our freedom because Africans have been enslaved. We've been insulted for so long.
Okay.
That's the one major thing.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for that. Okay. Like we said now, or like what we're saying now, talking about now, that Pan-Africanism and the world. I don't know if you heard of this white lady who left the English national team to come and play for the Nigerian team. She's literally white. If you see her, Ashley Plumter or something like that.
Okay.
She believed that she is from a Nigerian descent.
Wow.
Like she left England to come and play for Nigeria. Yes, for Super Falcons. Feeling like that this is where she rightfully belongs. And she's here like, I love the confidence in the sense that she's literally white.
With
You
the
understand?
white
Like
skin,
with the
the
white
blue
skin,
eyes and
yes,
everything.
and everything, like literally white, you cannot differentiate. But now she coming outside, standing out, saying that this is not where she belongs, that England is not where she belongs. Maybe she might have loved being there, but she knows that that is not where she knows that is not the place for her. She knows that she comes from an African descent, and she was bold enough to come out and tell every one of us that she is from a Nigerian descent, like embracing it so broadly, like,
Yeah.
this is what Pan-Africanism is talking about. Us standing out, coming out on our own, feeling like we are special in our own way. In our own way. So okay, now we know. Now we have spoken about. We have spoken about Pan-Africanism, the history, the problems, and everything. So now, talking about problems and leaving it like that doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
You just highlighted the default.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, we have to come up with a solution.
Mhm.
And now that's what drives us to the next segment, the way forward for Pan-African. As the topic says, Pan-Africanism highlighted the way forward. What is the way forward?
Good, thank you. Now let me use the example of this lady you just mentioned now. This now
The example.
the example you just gave now. The lady in question, I'll still go home and search more about the lady now.
Yes.
The lady in question now, okay, like I said earlier on in our first session, that lady, an apprentice about you knowing your roots.
Yes.
Well, she might be right by saying her parents she has done checked her ancestral history, and our parents are white, grandparents are white. I'm sorry, are blacks, and she's white, and so on and so forth. She stood up. She stood out.
Yes,
And she left. She took that bold step. Thank you very much. She came out and played for the Nigerian national team. That is an example. She's a white lady. I getting it. We are in a situation where Africans are going out to
Outside,
play
yes.
for Liverpool.
Like if you check it, literally, we have a lot of players playing for the English national team,
English national
for the
team,
German national
French,
team.
and German.
There are so much.
I've never heard of a white coming to play for
Play for
Africa.
This is
rare. This is the first time.
Yes.
This is the first time. So, the way forward is this: every African. This is the way forward. Every African has to recognize and embrace who they are.
Yes.
Accept their identity as Africans.
Yes.
Okay, come to a full recognition that yes, this is who we are. Okay, once you know who you are, you'll be able to know where you'll be going to.
Yes.
The way forward for the Pan-African movement, okay, is for Africans to embrace who they are, to love who they are. Are you getting it now? To accept who they are and create a new, or should I say, forge a new identity for themselves as Africans. Okay, get entrenched in the knowledge of the Pan-African movement. Okay, and they should also be a player in that movement too as well. Okay, then that way, within a short period of time, our ideology of one Africa as a nation, because we see Africa, from what my colleague said, we see Africa as a nation, not a continent. Thank you. So now, once we embrace who we are, accept who we are, take charge of our future, or take full responsibility for what we have to do. The Pan-African movement and the Pan-African ideology, okay, being and also one more thing, embracing that spirit of the Pan-African ideology. Once that is done, the Pan-African movement and the Pan-African ideology now becomes part and parcel of us. Okay, we share it, we breathe it in as oxygen and breathe it out. It would be something that when we go to the world, we stand as one. And once we stand as one, nobody can come and divide us and separate us and do whatever they want to do. Our history will be rewritten. That is what I suggest is the way forward. Okay, with some other subsequent steps to that need to be taken. Political education. Politically speaking, like I said in the first session, politically speaking, we Africans, we are not educated. We are ignorant. Political education is of vital importance to every African. Every African needs to be educated politically, because the reason why there's electoral malpractice, rigging, corruption, thieves, theft, and so on in government and so many other countries, because of this lack of education. So now, political education now is of paramount importance to every African, so that they can be able to embrace that ideology, coupled with that, and lead the way forward. That's the thing. That's just one of my contributions there. The main thing there. Okay, political education is of paramount importance to every African. Okay, so coupled with the understanding of the Pan-African ideology and the Pan-African movement, I believe we can go forward with that.
Yes.
Because once we are united, divided we can
Yes,
we
yes.
short united we stand.
We
Once we are united, we are stronger.
Yes,
That
yes,
way.
yes, yes.
That way, Africa will be seen as a nation. When
Right.
Africans travel across, they don't just see them as, oh, they are Tanzanian or Kenyan or Nigerian. They see as African, as a black man.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much
I
for
really
that. Thank you very much for that. Like you've heard him say, coming together is like it is the way forward. That is the only way we stand, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is the only like together we are stronger. We are not just a continent. We become a nation of many people coming together, embracing our culture, embracing who we are, being happy, our identity as Africans and as blacks, and that is the way forward. Okay, we have, should I say, the last question? Like this is a very vital point. Okay, these are the points whereby people will love to see, because when you start something and you know that in coming times it is going to be able to strive through. So now our last question is Pan-Africanism in the next 50 to 100 years. Where do we see Pan-Africanism? How far do you think we can go in the next 50 to 100 years?
Good. Thank you very much for that question.
Okay.
The Pan-African movement in the next 100 years, I personally see it. I see it as an El Dorado, as a paradise. Like I've told you but the way forward now. If every African should be able to accept who they are, embrace who they are as Africans now, in the next 100 years, I believe in one thing, with the help of God Almighty, that Africa will be liberated from the shackles of neo-colonialism and imperialism. Africa will be liberated from the shackles of debt finding, debt, this language barrier, this lack of free trade area, and so on and so forth. Africa will be such a place that every person, both the white and Asian and yellow, even black, they would love to come back to the mother continent, to Mother Africa, okay, and dwell there. Africa will be like a heaven on earth, okay. If only we are able to just take full responsibility of our future as Africans. We cannot wait on the whites, we cannot wait on the Chinese, we can't wait on the Qataris or on the Americans. We have to take responsibility by ourselves, for ourselves, okay? Work with our hands, okay? Then in the next 100 years, our children too will also be beneficiaries. If we don't do it now for ourselves, let's do it for our children, okay? So now, in the next 100 years, our children, they will look at us and say, yes, our parents did this, they fought for this, and they were able to achieve this. And in the next 100 years, it will be like an El Dorado on earth.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Like you heard him say, in next 100 years, the main beneficiaries of what we are going to start today, or what has started before this Pan-Africanism movement, are our children, the people who are going to come after we have left, saying that yes, they are proud to come from an African descent. Like you have heard him say, like it is going to be in the sense that our brothers who have left Africa and who has gone outside to claim dysenteries of where they are not from, they will be more than happy to come back again. They will be more than happy, and we are going to be more than happy to accept them back once again, knowing fully well that we are no longer the kind of Africa that they used to know, or the Africa that they run away from. Like this is going to be what a paradise like we all know it, like what we all crave for, what we all pray for. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, like this is time. Thank you very much for that, sir. Okay, like you've heard him say, the way forward and Africa in the next 100 years, like I've said before you, we are going places, and this has been a time well spent. It has been lovely to have you guys here with us, and my humble guest who has just like gone through everything. It has been a pleasure to be with you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. And make sure you go to all our social media handles to leave your like, your shares, and your comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you want us to talk about next. Tell us what you feel are the problems that you feel like we did not discuss yet. Tell us your own motive, and tell us what you feel like this is also a way forward. Tell us what you feel like this is Africa. This is Africa. This is blacks. in the next 100 years. Thank you very much. And go to all our social media handles that are showing now currently on your screen. Make sure you go there and do the needful. Thank you very much. Have a very nice day. I remain your humble host, Louis Divine. Have a very good evening. Thank you very much, sir, for being on here on set with us. Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all you have made our audience understand today. Thank you very much. It has been a very good pleasure to be with you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
I really appreciate it.
Like you have said, Pan-Africanism in the next 100 years takes us to a whole new level, to where we have not been, to where we all want to be, where we have all craved to be, isn't it? So we feel like if our unity should be our biggest weapon, isn't it?
Exactly.
Coming together, like making us stronger, is that not?
Yeah.
So being together in unity should give us the upper hand that we need, making us stronger, a more dependent nation. Now we're not now we are not talking about as a continent, but as a nation, nations. You understand? Or nations in one nation.
Thank you, as nations in one nation.